Can the police draw your blood just because they smell marijuana in your car? Hi, I'm Northern Virginia criminal defense attorney Scott Nolan, and I'm here to talk to you again about warrantless blood draws. Friend of the channel, Kim, says she's heard from a relative's lawyer that you can be arrested merely on suspicion and the police can draw your blood just because they smelled marijuana in your car. Well, yes, Kim, and no. It's not suspicion, it's probable cause. But generally, courts have found that the smell of marijuana in your vehicle is probable cause for a search. Now, is it probable cause to draw your blood? No. So here's what's going on. In order to stop you, that is, stop your vehicle while it's traveling down the road, that's what the police need suspicion for. The courts call it reasonable, articulable suspicion. It's more than just a guess or a hunch. It has to be reasonable, and they have to be able to articulate what it is. Again, not just a hunch. That allows the police to stop you and to investigate. So perhaps they saw you driving poorly or speeding or whatever. That would be the suspicion. Then they have to have probable cause to arrest you. And this is something that would lead any reasonably trained police officer to believe that you had committed a crime. And that's where the smell of marijuana comes in. In many states, it is still illegal. Most states, I guess, it's still illegal to possess marijuana. And I hazard a guess that Virginia will be the 50th and last state to legalize marijuana. In many states, it is still illegal. And therefore, the smell of marijuana gives rise to the probable cause. That is the reasonable belief that a crime is being committed. That crime is possession of marijuana. Now, does that allow them to draw your blood? No. That allows them to search your car and to arrest you and charge you with possession of marijuana. Now, no judge is going to convict you on the smell. The point is that allows the officer to then search your vehicle. The real problem that comes up with this is, in my experience, police smell marijuana whether it's there or not, and no judge is willing to look behind that. Police claim the smell of marijuana and then search the vehicle. If they find marijuana, aha, that's what they smelled. Even if it's unsmoked, wrapped in tin foil, inside a plastic bag, in a backpack, in the back seat, they can still smell it. I don't have any statistics on how many times the police smelled marijuana and then didn't find any. But of course, if they smell marijuana and then they find something else illegal that's not marijuana, they're going to make the case that the marijuana they smelled had previously been smoked in your car, and now that legal search allowed them to find whatever it is. None of which gives rise to a blood draw. The blood draw is legal only where the police have reasonable suspicion that you are intoxicated right now, either with alcohol or some other substance. If you are intoxicated, then it might be reasonable to draw your blood. However, police cannot do this without a warrant. Recent cases in the Supreme Court have made it very clear that warrantless blood draws are not acceptable except in very specific cases. If you did indeed hear from a relative's attorney that it was legal, that may perhaps have been before 2015 when the Supreme Court ruled that it wasn't. Even in those very narrow cases where the Supreme Court says that a warrantless blood draw is reasonable, the police are not vampires. They're not going to strap you down and draw your blood in a DUI case or a possession case. I don't know, but possibly they might do something like that in a murder or a rape case where they have to have the blood. But in that case, they would just get a warrant. The only thing that makes a warrantless blood draw reasonable is the situation where you are intoxicated and that intoxicant is going to leave your system soon. In those cases, you still have the option to refuse. They're not going to take it by force. They'll simply charge you with refusal. So I'm not sure. It seems like there might be two questions here. Are they going to forcibly draw the blood? And is it permitted to draw blood merely on the odor of alcohol or marijuana? And the answer is absolutely not. Okay, final thought on this subject. There is a difference between knowing your rights and having common sense. I don't want you to ever agree to a search either of your body, including your breath, or of your vehicle or your clothing. Never agree. But at the same time, don't resist. If the police insist and they are going to search your car, don't stop them. Don't try and stop them. Let your lawyer complain about it later. But never say, okay, I guess you're going to do it. Say, no, you do not have my permission. The same is true of your blood. They definitely never, ever get your permission. However, if the officer says, I have a warrant, give him the blood. Let your lawyer argue about it later. If the officer says, I have the authority to draw your blood and I'm going to do it, you say, in no uncertain terms, I do not agree. I am not giving you permission. But at the same time, I don't want you to physically resist. Give the blood. Let the lawyers sort it out. If you have any questions about warrantless blood draws or any other area of the law, feel free to give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. And you have a great day.